Hello everyone. In today's video, I will explain you how you can implement authentication mechanism in your servant application. We will be using a library called servant auth server, this one, and we will use JWT tokens. So to give you an idea on what exactly JWT is in a nutshell, it is an encrypted JSON body in which you can store maybe your user information, maybe your user ID or something that will be stored, that will be generated from the server, and it will be stored at the client side. And whenever client sends a request to the server, he will send the request including its JWT token, and we can decrypt this JWT token and see which user is exactly sending the request, and if that user has the authorization to access that resource. So in this video, I will just explain you what I will be doing. Here is the flow. So we will create a login API that will take email and password, and it will check whether this email and password is correct we will check it up against the records in our database. If it is correct, it will create a JWT token and it will return it to us. And we can use this JWT token to access the what you can say restricted resources. So yeah, that's what we are going to do. Here's an example. So you can see this is a route. It's a post request starting at localhost 8080 admin login, and as a JSON body we are sending it an email and a password. Okay, it gave us the request was successful and it gave us a JSON token. So if I hit copy, and there is this another route that is admin dashboard. It's a get request, and for now let's I'm not passing it any token. Let's see. It is saying bad request, and it is saying you are not allowed. If I gave it the JWT token, okay, it gave me a 200 request, and it returned me hello and the admin name that sort of we have passed in John. So also I just want to tell you one thing, that these JSON tokens are encrypted, okay, but they can easily be decrypted. So you can see that the information is stored in here itself. So I will always suggest that whenever you are storing whatever the information that you want to store, don't store any sensitive information such as password. I have stored password here, but it was for the sake of simplicity. What you can do, you can either just store the relevant information such as admin email and the admin ID. By using that admin ID, you can fetch the other information from the database, or maybe you can just hash this user password in some sort of way. Now you might think that if the JWT token is, it can easily be decrypted, then how is it secure? So the thing is, it not just encrypts the string, but it also puts a signature in it, that using a secret, and that secret is only known by the server, only stored at the server side. So using that secret, once we get this JWT token, we are not just going to decrypt it, we are also going to verify it whether the signature is correct or not. So that is also one good thing. That's what I wanted to discuss. So let's get started. I'll start with creating a new stack project. I'm going to call it servant or example. Oops. Okay, I think it's been created. Okay. So We will be writing all of our code in this module itself, though it is a best practice to separate out your modules and everything. Also, we will use in our package JSON, we'll add all our relevant packages that we want to use. We will need byte string, that's for sure. We'll need servant. There is a package called servant server that sort of re-exports all the relevant packages. Then servant auth server. These are the packages that we are going to need. Let me just refresh this so that it will start. Okay. Just give me a second. Okay, we'll start our program from here. Server running at port 8081. Let's see. We'll import servant. Let's just write a simple servant application, and then we'll move on with the authentication part. Run 8081. I will say app, and that app is going to be an application which would contain, I would say, serve. I need to pass in a proxy mentioning the API name. I'm just going to have an API called main API, and it would run the server. So let me define the main API. So right now the main API would just contain a single endpoint, which will give me it will just return a string saying hello. And server for the main API. I'm going to call it hello handler, where this hello handler would just return hello from server. We need to enable some extensions. Let's enable them. Data kinds, and we'll need type operators. We'll keep on adding extensions as we need it. Operators. Okay, cool. And run function is part of I guess it's network y handler warp, and I guess we need to add the warp package as well. So let's do that. I think I need to restart this thing. Okay, all good. Let me just quickly try running this application. I'm going to say stack run. Okay, it is running at port 8081. So let me just start HTTP localhost port 8081, I guess. I'm going to say hello, and if I send, it gave me the response hello from servant. Perfect. So what's next? We wrote a basic application here. Now what I want to do is, let's just go to the auth server. I just wanted to show you what APIs this servant auth server package provides us. So we have a type called auth, which will contain, you can see various auth values. Now these can be, you can think of them as roles. For example, admin, user, a moderator, which will have some privileges. And usually after the authentication, we will have the values in this auth result type that would contain bad password, no such user, stuff like that. But the most important one is this authenticated value. So authenticated, and then we will have our user information, stuff like that. Then the next thing is auth check. I don't think we are going to need it. Also, in order to convert our type into JWT, we have some functionalities. So obviously those types, whatever the type that we want to convert into the JWT token, would require the instances of from JWT and to JWT. There is encode JWT, but that's not what we are going to need. We will need two things: JWT settings. We will use default settings itself. We are not going to do many things. But if you want to modify some changes, there is stuff like the sign-in key. That is something we will be generating. That is something we will be adding. The other thing is the algorithm. So by default, I guess it uses this HS512. We are going to keep the default one itself and other stuff. We are also going to need the cookie setting, because what we want to do is when we will say login, yes, it is going to return us the JWT token, but we also want to store that JWT token in our cookies. So in real life application, what will happen is that whenever the user, usually the client will have the browser, the user will have the browser, and when the user sends any request, we will fetch the JWT token from the cookie and send it in the header of our request, from where we will pick it and we will verify. So yeah, this cookie is there, and yes, this is the function that we will be using. That will be doing all the stuff except login. Basically, it will take the whatever is the user, it will create its JWT token, and it will also set that token in the cookie itself. So yeah, that's really all that is required. Before that, I just want to create a database, a SQLite simple library we are going to use, and we are going to create a database in which we will store the user credentials, user record. Basically, when the user registers, he will have the email and password stored here, and once we get the login request, we will check it with the database information that we have. So let me just call it some DB, and I'm going to create a table called admin. So we will use admin info. Okay, so this is going to be for admin. So this admin will contain admin name. Let it be varchar 50 for now. Then admin email, which would be again varchar 50, and finally admin password, which would be varchar 50 as well. Okay, we'll insert into admin values. So let's have an admin called John. His email ID is going to be john@abc.com, and his password is going to be foobar. Okay, let me just check. Okay, perfect. So yeah, while we are at it, we should we'll write a function that will fetch this information up against the email and password that we will get from the request. So for that, we will use, in order to communicate with the SQLite database, we will use a library called SQLite simple. Let's do that. Wait, let this go. I guess it's SQLite simple. I need to restart this. And I'm going to have two types. So the type is going to be admin. So this admin is basically going to be fetched from the database. It will contain three things: admin name, string. Then the next thing it will contain is admin email, which will be string, and admin password, which would also be a string. And this will have an EQ instance, a show instance, a generic instance, and in order to fetch from the table, I think it will require a from row instance. Okay, it is saying that generic not found. We need to import a library called GHC generics, and we need to enable an extension. We need to enable two extensions, one called derive generic. I think that would be enough. No, we also need to enable derive any class. Okay, perfect. Now let me just write a function that would fetch the admin information from the database based on the email and password. So I'm going to call it fetch admin q. Q stands for basically knowing that it's a query. It will take two strings, being admin email and password, and it will return a maybe admin type. Maybe because email and password, if there is no such data containing having that email and password, we will return a nothing, and if we get a nothing, we will assume that the password either password is wrong or maybe the user does not exist. So string, it's going to be admin email and admin password. We need to have a connection, so I'm going to say open, and I'm going to need a path. So it's home user Haskell some db. I hope the path is correct. Then I'm going to use a query function, and I need to write the query select star from the table name was admin, where admin name, not admin name, admin email is going to be something, and admin password is going to be something. Here we'll pass in admin email and admin password. Also, we need to sort of explicitly mention what type we are returning, so that the type that will get marshaled by this query function. So we want the admin type to be a list of admin, because query function returns the list of whatever the stuff is there. And now we want to do a case matching. If the what you can say, this list does not contain anything, if the list is empty, it means that no record containing that admin email and password exists, so we will return a nothing. Otherwise, if we get some information, usually only one element would exist, because email and password would be unique. We will just return it wrapped inside a just. So it is not able to understand the difference between a string and a query. So query is a type synonym for string. For this, we need to enable an extension called overloaded string. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll assume that this query would work fine. Anyways, the next thing that I want to do is to so we are going to need a couple of things. We are going to make changes in our application. So I'll explain that a bit. For that, in order to use the what do you can say server, we cannot just use our normal serve function. We need to use serve with context. So let me just show you serve with context. Okay, there is also a transformer variant available as well. So this serve with context, basically what does it take? It takes the proxy as it is. It takes the server function and it returns an application, but it also takes something called as context. So what is context? It is a used to pass values as combinators, usually stuff like exactly what sort of stuff we want to send in. So this stuff that we need is we are going to need cookie settings and JWT settings, meaning this JWT settings would be the signing key, and the cookie settings would be basically the cookie information, stuff like that. So we need to send it in via the context, and for that reason we are going to need serve with context function. So let's use that serve with context. Yeah, it's going to give us a lot of errors. Also in the proxy, we also need to mention exactly what extra context we are passing in. So we are passing in two things. One is the JWT data and the cookie data type. So it is saying that JWT and cookie are not found. That is because we have not imported our servant auth server package module. So let's add that servant auth server. Okay, great. So it is again giving us an error saying that main API does not has the kind star, but it does require a star to star. So let's just give it auths, the type synonym, and here in the server it should be auths as well. Okay, expected type has kind. Okay, so serve with context, we gave it this, and it also need a couple of things. It will require a configuration, basically the context itself. So it will require we gave it a proxy, it requires a context and then our normal server application. So we are here. If you look at this PFG, okay, we'll figure it out, but first of all let's create the context first. So this context in this server, okay, I'm not able to find it. It's here somewhere. Okay, fine. So first of all, we need a secret key in order to generate, called JWT secret key, that we will pass in to our server in order to create JWT token. So in order to create a secret key, we have a function called in auth server, I think there is called generate key. It will give us the secret key. I'm going to say generate key, and we can, using this generate key, we can create a JWT setting. So for this we'll use a function called default JWT settings, and we'll pass in the secret. and we are also going to need cookie setting, where we'll use the default, I think it's called cookie setting. Generate key, perhaps the spelling is wrong, it's fine. Okay, cool. Okay, and now we are supposed to create a context. So in order to create a context, let's see how we can create one. So here is an example given. So first you need this empty context, and you can concatenate. You can add values inside this context using this this operator, and you can add two values there. Okay, so our context requires two things, JWT and cookie. So let's do that. I'm going to say context, it will contain stuff like cookie setting, and it will contain our JWT setting, and it will start with empty context. You can think of it as the empty list, to start with. It is giving us an ambiguous occurrence error saying that this operator colon and dot exists in servant as well as in SQLite simple as well. So let me do one thing. Let me just hide that symbol from SQLite simple. Okay, cool. So we got the CFG now. So what I'll do is I'll pass in this CFG here. I don't know what is the type of this CFG, so we'll figure it out. I have this CFG with me. Okay, it did not give us any error. And this server, we are going to need the cookie setting and the JWT setting as well. So I need to pass in, I'll pass in both of this stuff. So cookie settings and JWT settings, it will be cookie set, JWT set. Okay. So inside the server, I'll explain why we are going to need this cookie setting and JWT settings in our login API. Okay. So server will take two things. It will take the cookie setting and JWT settings. So let's try to fix this error first. So in our proxy, we change our type main API to this JWT cookie, and we also need to do the same thing at the top. Auth, this is also correct. And in our server, we also need to mention that it is an auth. So I guess there is some issue with the proxy. is it related to cookie and JWT? Okay, so I assume this error is coming because it is not able to understand what this auth really is. So that's not a big deal. We'll figure it out soon. Meanwhile, I just want to. Okay, fine. We'll do one thing. We'll just decide the APIs first. So I want to have two API. One for admin login. I'm going to call it admin login, and this will take a request body that will be in JSON format, a JSON body. This will have the type, I'm going to call it login data. So let's declare the type as well. Data, login data. Oh, capital L. Let me just hide this really quickly. So it will contain two things: admin email string and admin password. So admin string, admin email and password, these are the two things that we'll be taking from the user, and we'll verify that. This will have EQ and show, generic. It also needs to have a from JSON instance. So for that reason, I'm adding generic, and it will have from JSON. For using from JSON, we need to import data.asyn, and we also need to import that. We also need to import the asyn package. I think this stuff would be enough. It is going to be a login data, and at the end it is going to give us so the thing is, we are going to implement logging inside of it, and we are going to more specifically using accept login. So let's see what accept login requires. Accept login requires a header that will contain this set cookie and stuff. So this this endpoint should also need to have an instance for headers. So it's going to be a post request, by the way. Post JSON, it is going to return, and it is going to return a headers. Since we are using the accept login inside of it, that's why. Set cookie. Let me just have this on the below line. So we are going to need set cookie, two headers we are going to need. And it is not going to return anything. For now, we are not going to return anything. We'll soon return something. And we are going to have another API. This would be auth protected. So in order to protect it with auth, I'm going to use auths, and for which data it will be protected, it will be admin. So the endpoint is going to be admin slash dashboard, and it will just return us it is going to be a get request. It is going to give us a string. Okay, so these are the, let me have this on the below line as well. Nice. Okay, cool. So these two are going to be the endpoints, admin login and admin dashboard. So let's add them here as well. So we are going to have two handlers. One is going to be for admin login handler, and the other one is going to be admin dashboard. So yeah, admin login handler. I'm separating it out using a function admin login h, and the reason for that, because I want to pass in some extra information. I'm going to pass in cookie setting and JWT setting, because in order to, once if the credentials are correct, I want to create a JWT token, and in order to create JWT token, I'm going to create cookie and JWT information inside admin log. And for admin dashboard, admin dashboard handler, I will have a function called admin dashboard h, and I guess it does not need anything else. Admin dashboard h, let's have this as undefined, and admin login handler, as I said, it will take two things. It will take cookie setting, it will take JWT setting, and let's have this as undefined for now. And let's just have this as context of any type. And yeah, I guess that's really all we need in terms of a structure. I forgot one thing, the login data. Okay, it has a from JSON instance, so I don't think it will be any problem. So okay, it is giving us an error saying that JSON. Okay, I need to restart this. It is giving us an error saying that admin email and password are duplicated. So for this, we need to enable an extension called, I guess, duplicate record fields. Okay, great. Expected kind star to star. I think I'm missing something here. Headers, list, header. Yeah, I forgot set cookie here. It is saying variable not found, login h. It should be h, not handle. Okay, and now it is giving an error saying that admin does not have a from JWT instance. So we just need to write it inside this from JWT. It will probably give us an error saying that to JWT does not also exist. It is saying from JSON is not there. I guess for JWT it is a requirement to have from JSON as well. So we'll have from, sorry, to JWT and to JSON as well. Okay, it is saying that has context entry a cookie settings. You know what? I'll just do one thing. Line number 58, right? I'll just remove this. Has entry cookie setting, JWT non-type variable argument. Okay, fine. You know what? I'll do another thing. I'll just I just take the whole thing and replaced it with here, but it will not give me any problem. Let me just remove this. Okay, cool. So that is over now. Now we just have to write two APIs, one for login and one for admin dashboard. Let's start with the login thing. Let me just write its type signature login h. It will take a cookie settings, then JWT settings, and it will return a handler that would contain headers. Let me just copy from this. Okay, cannot match, no content. Oh, we forgot login data. So login data. Okay, perfect. So let me just have everything on a new line. Okay, cool. Let me destruct the login data so I can directly use the admin login and password. For this, we will need record wildcard syntax. Okay, all good. So let's think what we need to do. We will fetch admin queue. We will fetch the data based on the admin email and admin password that we got from login data. We need to lift it because we are under the monad of handler, and fetch admin queue is under IO monad. So we will get a maybe type, maybe admin. So we need to pattern match this. So if it's a nothing, it means that the email password does not get matched. It is not correct. So we'll throw an error. The error is going to be, let me just check what error it needs to have. Okay, here. So unauthorized, it needs to have a 401 error, and inside error body we can give it a message not allowed. Okay, lift IO does not exist. Lift IO is part of control monad IO class. Otherwise, if we got the admin, so we got the admin, what should we do? We are going to accept login, and we need to pass in cookie setting, JWT setting, and admin itself, and accept login is also inside IO type, so IO monad. So we need to fetch, and this is going to give us again a maybe type, most likely, whether login has been accepted or not. By accepted means it will store the JWT token. It will create a JWT token and it will store it inside the cookie. So if we got a nothing, is m login accepted off. So if we got a nothing, it means that for some reason this authentication has failed. So we will pass in an error saying that login has failed, please try again. Otherwise, if we got the data, then nothing, we just have to return x no content. Okay, cool. So I just want to try out whatever we have right now. I'm going to say stack run. So if I go at port 8080, post request, admin login, inside the body, a JSON body I want to give in, where there will be two fields. One is email, that will contain john@abc.com, and the password, admin password foo bar. If I hit send, it got a 200 request. It means that it successfully, if you look at here, we got the cookie stored inside our we got our JWT token stored out inside our cookie. So that is great, but I want the JWT token get returned. So I want to return a string rather than no content. So how to return that? Once, so for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a JWT token by myself, and I'm going to return that token. This may not be best practice, because then you will have two different tokens for the same reason. One token will be stored inside the cookie, and the other one we are making it manually and returning it to the user. But I don't have any other choice. Make JWT. It will take, I guess it will take JWT setting. It will take a nothing. Let me just check. Make JWT. It will take a JWT setting. It will take a maybe UTC time. This is probably for the after how long time the token should get expired. So nothing, and it will take the type that needs to have a 2JWT instance. For us, in this case, it will be admin, and this is going to return us an IO. So we'll do a lift IO, and what else? It is going to be a byte string. So we will get an either eres. So case eres of. So if we got some error, it means that making JWT token failed for some reason. In that situation, we'll throw an error 401, error body, something went wrong. Otherwise, we will get the token. Now I want to return this token. This token is going to be a byte string, and I want to return the string. So in order to convert byte string into a string, we will use unpack function from the byte string. More specifically, this is a lazy version of byte string. So I need to import the, I would say data byte string lazy and caret, and I want to have the qualified version of this. Qualified BSC. Okay, just one warning. That's great. Yeah, let me just try running this. If I run this, I will get a JWT string. Perfect. Now I can use this JWT string to access the protected routes. In our situation, I want to make this route protected. This route is protected as is. If you look at here, in our main API, we have defined that it needs to have this authenticated admin. So we just need to check it here. So I will have admin dashboard h, and this will contain a type. I guess it's going to be auth. No, it will have an auth result for admin, and it will return a handler string. So we are going to just simply pattern match it. As I mentioned, in auth server, auth result can have 4 types of value. Authenticated, indefinite, no such user, no pad password. We just want one type, that is going to be authenticated. Authenticated, and we'll have some admin value. I'm going to destruct it. And I'm just going to return hello admin, and I want its name. So I guess it's going to be admin name. Okay, so let's try this. Non-exhaustive pattern match, we don't care about. Okay, right. So if it is not, if the user is not authenticated, in that situation will return not allowed, or instead of returning it, we can return it as an error. So error 400, error body. Okay, all good. Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do, I'll have a route. Local host port 8080 slash admin slash dashboard. I'll try hitting this, and it is going to give me an error. Okay, or I assume it's at 8081. Got it. Okay, it's saying that you are not allowed. So let's just log in, and it will give me a JWT string. To copy it, I'm going to use authentication bearer. Going to give it a prefix bearer. I'm going to paste this string, and it is saying hello admin with the admin name. So that's how you can implement authentication mechanism in Servant using Servant auth server library and JWT. Thank you. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you.